Hello, my name is Duncan and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. This is one of my pick and mix videos that I sort of do most Sundays or Saturdays or Sundays, and occasionally I miss weeks. It all depends, and it's like a mixture of what I've been reading, anything I've picked up, even though I shouldn't really be buying books. And I think this week I may have actually invented the vlog, because I've got some video of me outside walking dogs and a bit of me talking just because I could. The first bit probably is, if anybody watched, I had a video the other day which was about God is Nine by Spider Robinson, the short story. It's a video I did while walking along around a little lake locally, trying not to fall into it. And in it I mentioned the fact that my beautiful Labrador had gone to the vets for a quite normal thing. I will let myself explain it afterwards, so I'm going to cut across that bit of video now. Okay, if anybody saw my dog walking ruminations earlier on God is an Iron, you know that I took my Labrador to the vet, and I thought it was quite simple, and it's not, because they've had to take her in for a hysterectomy because she wasn't spayed, and she's 12 years old, by the way, and they've had to operate and they found a bit of a mass, but we're hopeful that it's going to be okay in the end. But I just thought you might like this little update in the middle of this. So tonight I'm out with my wife in her wheelchair, and my little Yorkie just has a nice refreshing walk. So I'll show you little Gizmo sniffing around somewhere in a second. Yeah, as my past self probably just told you, it ended up being a lot more serious than we expected. What we thought was going to be a normal UTI ended up being a bit more. She had an emergency hysterectomy, and unfortunately they found a growth in there as well, which they can't remove because of where it is. She's back home now. She's over there sleeping. But she's had quite a major operation, and they've given her a hysterectomy because she wasn't spayed, and now she's just recovering. Because the problem is, it was like, because of where they investigated, the cut was a lot higher. If you want to be graphic, well, they normally would. So I'm just trying to keep her entertained and try and keep a Labrador quiet. But yes, so if you're interested, that's what happened to my gorgeous Labrador. And I said there's going to be some little bit of video I'm going to drop in later of me walking her. It was funny because Gizmo, my Yorkie, he went off to be groomed. So took a nice chance to have a really, really long walk with her. Me and my wife in her wheelchair. And we had a good little thing. And that was the day before we took her to the vet. So I'm going to show you some videos of that sprinkled throughout this video, just because I can, because I said I think I've invented the vlog. And then also there is going to be a few little bits with my Gizmo and little Yorkie, because we went and walked him by himself when she ended up being in the vets having her surgery. But as I said, she's home there, she's sleeping, and it's all a bit icky at the moment because of fluids. But you don't want to know about that. But yeah, hopefully she'll be better soon. I don't know, it's got nothing to do with books, but they are part of my life, and that's basically it. Anyway, and I said after losing my golden last year, I don't want to, Anyway, what have I been reading this week? That's what you're here for. This week I have finished The Eyes of the Overworld, Jack Vance, which is part of the anthology of Dying Earth books. And so I'm going to do a video separately on that one, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think I like it as much as the Dying Earth, which is like the collection of linked short stories, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. I need to have a little bit of a think about that. But yes, that video should be coming up in the next week or so, hopefully, if I can get around to doing it. I know I've got backlog of stuff I wanted to do. And the other main thing that I've been doing is I finished, sorry, I've got a pile of books down here. Losing the Head of Philip K. Dick, which, as I mentioned, I did a video of while I was walking around. Actually, no, I did a video of earlier in the week, which I will put a link to at the back end. We're talking about that. It was a really enjoyable book. And I have been reading, which I should probably finish today, is James White's Star Surgeon, because I'm doing a brace of surgeons, because after I finish that, I'm going to read Annie North's Star Surgeon and do a comparison. So far, this is the first James White I've actually read, and he was a Northern Irish author, and he never did it's like one of the first pacifist space operas, they call it. So far, I'm enjoying it, but I'm finding it basic, the word. There's not much character behind it, but I said I'm only a third of the way through, so it could develop a lot more. But I'll be interested to finish that one. I said this is one of 11 or 12 of the Sector General books that you can read separately, so yeah, anyway, I will put my opinion on that once I've finished it. And I said, because I've finished Eyes of the Otherworld, I've got a few things that I'm considering reading. Probably going to Michael Romeo has started his own little book club. Actually, YouTube event things. I'm going to put in a little stink of a video I did recording when I was out earlier about my thing about YouTube events. Not that I'm against them, but just a bit. So just wait 2 seconds and here I am. So I'm just recording this to pop into my Pick a Mix of the weekend. And I was thinking this week about all the BookTube events. And I struggle with them because I like the idea of doing them. But people always want to talk on Discord, and I think Discord is like one of the worst pieces of software in the world ever. And every time I've joined anything on Discord, I've just sort of lost the will to live and gone. And it's almost the pressure on it. I'm sort of doing the wonderful Michael Romeo's 20th century literature one. I'm doing a Arthur Hailey book, but I don't know how I'm going to get into discussions with people if I'm not going to go on Discord. But I find the amount of events that turn up quite overwhelming, and my brain just sort of switches off. So I just sort of then keep myself to myself because that's just sort of where I am. But no, I find it quite interesting. I know a lot of other people participate in them a lot, but I don't know. But anyway, I think this week's Pick a Mix has almost turned into a vlog. So yes, Michael Romeo's book club. I said, I know he's got a Discord server talking about them, but I said, as I just previously said, me and Discord don't really get on, so there's a chance I may or may not join it. But I'm going to do some Alex Haley, and he's got a 20th century book club that he's going to pick authors from the 20th century, and you can read as many or as few of their books you like. I've got 2 Alex Haley books here because he's doing Alex Haley. I've got a nice edition of Airport, and I've got the Evening News, so I'm going to try and read at least 1 or 2 of those, because I've never read either of those. I've read, what did I read? I read Hotel a few months back, which I really quite enjoyed. He's a great writer. If you look at the interesting about Airport on the Friday Reads live stream done by Sean Standfast, it's got Steve Donahue on and Greg on it from another Bibliophile Reads. He's talking about this book, which is quite interesting, so if you want to check that out, might be worth looking at. So I've also got a few pickups. I really shouldn't be buying books. I told myself I wasn't, but stuff happens, doesn't it? It just sort of, I'm not hurting anybody, am I? It's not like I'm a war criminal. Is it? Anyway, so I'll show you some of the bits I've picked up here. I've got this year's best SF9, edited by Brian Aldiss and Harry Harrison. I've got number 7 back on the shelf there, which I picked up because it had the original short story of Rollerball in, even though I've managed now to pick up the collection that's originally from. But anyway, yeah, so I picked up SF7. It was quite interesting because it had some writers I'd never heard of, and so I picked up this one. I have a feeling I could end up trying to pick up the complete load of them. This has got authors in it. Some Algis Burgess, some Lisa Tuttle, some Barry Ann Maltzberg, a book story called A Galaxy Called Rome that I never heard of. Peter Redgrove, Richard Cowper, Stephen Robinette, John Updike, quite a few authors I don't really know. Louis Phillips. Then you've got some classics like Michael Moorcock and M. John Harrison. But there's quite a lot of authors in here I don't know, which is why I said that was quite interesting about the SF's, the number 7. There's a lot of authors I didn't really know, which is why I picked up this one. And it's actually not a rather faded spine. It's in pretty good condition, and I quite like that spaceship, even though I don't know who the art's by. But another collection I've picked up Okay, this collection's got a load, and I was amazed this was actually ended up being hardback. I wasn't expecting because I bought it online. Is this? This was published in the back end of the 90s, I think. And it's got a lot of, see when it's published, it's got a lot of stories that I know, but the reason I picked it up, here we are, the publication page. 1994 is, I am a huge fan of Philip Jose Farmer's Daywell books, which I've got back on the shelf there. I'm not going to go and get them. And this collection has got the short story that the original sort of vague idea was based on, which was called, the reason I'm looking for the title is because it's a bit of a mouthful. It's called The Sliced Crosswise Only on Tuesday World. And for some reason, this short story is incredibly hard to find because I really wanted to read it. So I ended up, this was the collection I managed to find it in the end, even though like his original, because it was originally published in a magazine. And the collection's got, most of it is stuff that I've already got elsewhere. But for that story, and I said, I did a little discussion on God is an Iron, and I was thinking of probably doing a series of discussions on short stories because I think they need to get more love. But it's got like things like, it's got The Mortal Immortal by Mary Shelley, which I've never read actually. But then it's got things like some Arthur Conan Doyle in here I've not read. Lost Machine by John Wyndham. And He Built Crooked House, Robert Heinlein, which I've got elsewhere. The Off-Season, Ray Bradbury, which I've got in a collection. Sentinel, which I've got a couple of different books. Ship Who Sang Anne McCaffrey, the original story of that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here I've got, but the main reason I bought it was for the Philip Jose Farmer book. This cover, I think, is by Alex Proyas, but I'm trying to work out what's going on with this guy's legs. So they seem to be bent out to a sort of really weird angle. Or is that just me? Anyway, this is a really nice hardback version of this book. So it's quite nice to pick that up. But yes, I really shouldn't be buying stuff, but I am. Now I've just got two other things that I picked up, and then things that don't really count on this. In my joy to replace books that I got lost in the famous book purge of the back end of the 90s, God rest their soul, I managed to pick up the Frank Herbert's The Jesus Incident, which is the third of 3 books, even though there's a sort of prequel one that was written 15 years ago. And for me, this is one of Herbert's best books, and it's on a planet called Pandora, so nothing to do, which I find quite funny because it's nothing to do with an Avatar. And I do love this cover. I was trying to find a version with the original cover I used to have, and I can't remember who did the cover, but I'll probably find out later. I like Dune, but I'm not the Dune's biggest fan. I think it is slightly overrated, but I'm in the minority there. And I actually think this is better than Dune. That's my own personal opinion. There's 3 books in it, and I'll read the back of it. A small group of human colonists are engaged in a desperate struggle for survival. Ranging against them, the planet Pandora. Its native life forms as malevolent and savage as they are numerous. And their shipboard computer, who knows that it is God, and on pain of destruction demands their worship. A giant novel, vast in conception, cosmic in scope, universal in theme. I said there's 3 books in this. And I said I love these covers. This is the Orbit version. Futura, sorry. I'll pop that back down. And the final thing I found this locally actually. You might have seen it on my, if you follow my community tab, The Machine Gunners by Rob Westall, which is a children's book for age about 12, 13. I read this when I was at school. I remember it being pretty good, and I saw this around and thought, ooh, I'd like to read it. But it's about some boys in the north of England in the Second World War, and a German plane crashes nearby, and it's them not hiding this German airman. And what I remember about it isn't automatically, it's one of the few books, sort of children's books, basically it doesn't portray the Germans as all bad Nazis. Some of them were just men fighting for their country because they had to and stuff like this. But in that way, it's like, morally, it makes it quite interesting story that way. So yeah, Machine Gunners. Robert Westall's famous children's author over here in the UK. I don't know how well he's known around the world. But this book won the Carnegie Medal, which was picked by librarians, I think, if I remember rightly, that award is. And I do like the cover, it's quite an interesting cover. And that's it for the books that I shouldn't have picked up. And I've got a couple of little bits I'll show you. I got yesterday, because it's Sunday morning, or nearly afternoon, Forbidden Planet. I've got a couple of comics arrived in the post, so I thought I'd open it here so you can see what it is, because I have no idea. So I've got Plague out here. Probably just one of my normal ones that I do. Yeah, the latest in the Star Wars one I'm reading. And about 18 of the Venom run I'm following at the moment as well. So that, and the other thing I received yesterday, which I've not opened yet, is this week's Times Literary Supplement. I've not actually read last week's yet. It's very bad of me. I'm going to try to read it on a weekly basis. And so a quick flick, see what's on here. Watch a man reading newspaper. This is a famous picture of the slave owner Edward Colston's statue being chucked into Bristol docks a couple of years back. Which is somebody who used to live around that area. It's quite interesting. And a quick look at the contents, see what they've got there. Art history, arts, fiction. I think leaps out at me, but it'd be interesting to read a bit about statues and things. And I will, if I find anything interesting, I will probably include it in some video somewhere. But anyway, that's me done for the day. I think I said there's going to be bits of, throughout this, I think I may have invented a vlog, and it's a bit of doggy walky stuff, if that doesn't bore you too much. And I will speak to you all very soon. I've got a couple of videos I'm planning this week. I'm still trying to catch up with some of my ideas, like my Philip K. Dick ones, but I'm still sort of struggling, and this week has been quite stressful. And if you're in the UK and you haven't got your dog insured, get your dog insured, because the cost for the surgery on her is a absolute fortune. If I wasn't insured, I'd have to sell body parts, and I've still got to pay a chunk of it anyway because of the way our coverage works and because of her age. But that is affordable compared to what it would have cost if I'd not had her insured. So that's my top tip for the day. Get your dog insured. It may seem like a lot of money at times, but it's worth it when something like this happens. Anyway, I will speak to you all very soon, and we'll have a good weekend. And hopefully I'll speak to some of you during the week. Either commenting on my videos, or if you're a booktuber yourself, commenting through your comments. I think I'm rambling now. Anyway, bye-bye.